I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up, roll the window down it. Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, you can't That's why I spend my life with you.
Hi, hotties, kettles, tea stirs. You're here for hot tea. All commentary is alleged, and in my opinion, this is for entertainment purposes only.
I want you to make sure that that person is qualified about mental health. Because if they're not, that can be damaging.
Okay, since Dusty Dan Trash Can Stan can't seem to stay within her 4 boxed up cheek corners, we're going to have this discussion. Now, before we have this discussion, I want to make something very, very clear because I know the masses can get things confused. Passive and microaggression is still aggression. Being passive and microaggressive is still aggressive. Your being passive and microaggressive doesn't make you any better or doesn't make your decision making any better than a direct aggressive person. And a lot of times, passive and microaggressive behaviors can be misconstrued because we've seen Dusty Dan display a very aggressive undertone while trying to come across as being meek and approachable, as if she's trying to push forward a conversation within community. But like I said, within the message, she has a very aggressive undertone about herself. And realistically, in my opinion, she just has a very dark energy and so desperately begging for male's attention, in my opinion. She wants a reaction. She wants to be able to spill something out of her mouth is what I'm getting from this. She wants male to respond to her in some way, shape, or form so she can say something. I think she wants to say something to male, but she doesn't want to seem like she's obsessed, even though, babe, you give very much obsessed because this micro and passive behavior that you're giving off is very readable. But my theory is she keeps being micro and passive aggressive and she keeps saying things because she wants male to address her. And when male address her, she wants to be able to say something that she feels will shock the masses. Now, I don't know how true this is, but that's just how obsessively weird she has become to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I judge friendship too, even when you break up, right? How do you handle a person when you break up? When someone is so quick to spread the bad things that this person done about who she slept with, how terrible a person she is, literally like giving me people to call who could bash her, how her handle male like that.
So now Dusty Dan Trash Can Stan has formulated a new alliance, but with the same blueprint, of course. Dusty Dan did an interview with somebody who calls themselves something, mental health something. That's what she called herself, something, a mental health something. But I can't help but to think how unprofessional this woman comes across. And if you pay attention to her body language and her demeanor, she was clearly nervous about something. Dusty Dan is a master manipulator, however, because in my opinion, she's along the lines of a narcissist. To me, it looks as though they had already had a conversation prior to going live and they knew exactly what the topic of conversation would be. And there are a few telltale signs when it comes to Dusty Dan because she always try to play herself out to be this positive, forward-thinking woman when she's really not. So as the woman proceeds with the conversation, Dusty Dan in the beginning acts as if she doesn't know what the woman is talking about and that the woman was finna go off on a conversation that she wasn't privy to. And I thought that part of the conversation was so funny and it was so telling because they clearly had a conversation about what they were going to talk about on this live prior to getting on live. Now, going back to this woman's professionalism, why is the topic even based on a cast member that your client doesn't like? Are you expecting us to believe that Dusty Dan Trash Can Stan didn't have a conversation with you about Mill? Because she has a conversation with everybody about Mill. Literally, every conversation that she has with a new person, it's about Mill as well.
Those the truths that I hold about her.
What are they?
Dusty Dan has gone on a tour to bash Mill to anyone that would hear her. And you want us to believe that you didn't have a conversation with Dustpan prior to going live to even title the conversation Motherless Daughters? So from that alone, we understand that you are coming in not as a professional, but as Dustpan's friend. You're coming in from her perspective and you're not neutral. And we're not saying that's a problem, but don't sit up in our fucking face and try to play, lady. And the next thing I want to say before we break this video down, because I kind of want to break down just the beginning of it. Why are y'all always watching Mill? Why are y'all always watching Mill? Why? And it's crazy because she never mentioned anyone's names. Why are y'all assuming that she's talking about you? Nobody mentions your fat-faced ass unless you talking about her. And really only the content creators mention the fact that you talk about her. Mel don't ever mention your ass. Mel ain't mentioned your ass since you
Do is continue to play in my face.
Well, no one's playing in your face. I don't
You
even talk
are.
to you, sweetie.
Yeah, Melly Scorpiona walked her ass down this reunion. But from my understanding, she don't mention you and hasn't mentioned you since that reunion. And ever since then, you have literally been obsessed and angry since she wouldn't befriend you again. You were open to having a friendship with the girl and then have been obsessively angry because she wouldn't befriend you again. All because you played your cards wrong and now instead of being upset with yourself, you mad at her. But it's no way no good neutral professional is going to listen to what Melody was talking about and find offense in that and then listen to Wanda shit and find some sort of resignation with that. Like, get fucking real. But let's look into this video. This is fair use content. I'm just going to be using a piece of this to break down.
Like, if you're looking at this and you're like, motherless daughters, and you have no clue what I'm talking about, good for you, first of all.
This was law number 1. Everybody, let's go ahead and pull out our notebooks and our pads and go ahead and calculate the lies. To me, Dusty Dan and the therapist mental lady is a coward. Instead of them being honest and direct, they choose to straddle the fence, and I never respect shit like that. We know y'all had the conversation. Don't straddle the fence. If you want to have a conversation based on what your fave was speaking about on her live, let's talk about it. We know you watch her all the time. You're obsessed. Dusty Dan Trash Can Stan hasn't been able to make one video without mentioning Mel or alluding to anything pertaining to Mel. So cowardly Dusty Dan is going to say, I haven't. Like, she don't know what this conversation is going to be about motherless daughters. Girl, get fucking real, big face. I'm sure Peggy Ann Hag and that I'm her coral reef lash wearing asshole that was in your chat sent you the video, because it's interesting, right? You try to say, or the therapist mental lady tried to say that, oh, we're building a community, when you realize your entire community is built off hateration and not holding people accountable. Them same hoes that's in your chat is the same hoes that I built my buy hoe merch off of, because I've been sending them hoes by. And I just think it's so funny how they used to be up in my comment section commenting weird hating ass shit, and now we see the coral reef lash wearing ass I'm her hoe all up in your chat. That shit is so funny because that's a bitter ass weird bitch. Just like you try to make claims that there is a fan base that are just bitter old women when you are bitter as hell. And you trying to find new ways to bash Mel is really quite old. Like, get a life.
I did it.
First of all, good for you. That's a great thing.
Like, who is this lady? She's so corny. The entire setup is corny and unprofessional. Out of everything you going through in your life, you couldn't find a new talking point, like the emotional damage that comes with a woman that has been left to raise a son alone. You don't want to talk about that? Because I think that's an interesting mental health topic. I think that single mothers also deal with mental health and abandonment issues, rightfully so, when they are neglected and abandoned and stuck having to raise children that the men won't help them with. Something that you're going through, Dusty Dan. Why not talk about that? Y'all literally need Mel for everything, even talking points for your own channel. And that shit is so crazy.
That's a great thing. That means, for the most part, you out here minding your business. You show up to Mental Mondays, you watch the show, and you just kind of mind your business.
Girl, please shut the fuck up, because y'all not minding y'all business right now. Hurry up and get to the point, Scary. Sitting up there looking like Courage the Cowardly Screaming Dog.
And that's a great thing, right? I happen to be strolling through, of course, because sometimes I'll go back and watch some of our videos, see what I can do better. I'm always looking at growing, because while I provide
therapy, this kind of space is very new to me. Doing talking in these type of platforms, I am or anything like that. I'm just over here running my mouth.
That indeed she is doing, just over here running her mouth. And y'all pay attention to her body language. She comes across as nervous. She's swaying in the chair. A lot of the maybe it's because she don't have any experience with journalism, or maybe it's because she over here being messy.
I happen to be strolling through, of course, because sometimes I'll go back and watch some of our videos, see what I can do better.
You happen to be strolling through what? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok? What were you strolling through? Because you said you want to get content to see how you perform well on your videos, so that have to be on YouTube, right? Okay. Mel didn't post her video on YouTube, so that's another thing. Write it down. You would have had to be clicking on YouTube content creators drama.
I saw a video, and part of me at the title, I was like, oh, well, let me check this out. Let me see what this is. Because one of your castmates, Destiny, has joined us in the mental health talk space.
Mel hasn't joined y'all in shit. Y'all joined her in the mental health talk space. Dusty Dan has never, ever, 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 ever had a mental health conversation until Mel started having them consistently, successfully. This is something new that Dusty Dan has currently started. Dusty Dan has never, ever, ever had a mental health conversation. Mel, however, has always had mental health conversations since the day she touched the Love and Mirror Huntsville platform, and probably since before then. And realistically, if I have to, I can go back on the Facebook platform and find them. So again, she's being messy and finding a way to include themselves in this conversation, because nobody was having this conversation with y'all and or about y'all, and nobody was including themselves in a mental health conversation that y'all were in ever. Nobody in their good right mind would ever look at Dusty Dan and seek a mental health conversation. She has literally aligned herself with Mel's baby mama, Martell, who is literally, in my opinion, clinically insane, and has been ordered to do mental health evaluation, but have also demonstrated very toxic behaviors. That is somebody she is good friends with, okay? So understand that while you're talking health, mental lady.
Which I think could be a great thing. I really do. I think that the more the merrier. I love mental health. I do. I love talking about spiritual health. So the more the merrier. And I saw that and I clicked on it. I was like, well, let me see what we're talking about here.
Body language. Hurry up and get it out. She can't look at the camera. All of this moving around, looking down, trying to figure out what it is that she gonna say. Like, hurry up and get it out.
And couple of things. I'm just gonna be real. I think I'm gonna be blunt. So a couple of things I noticed right away is that we had a shared with your castmate. We have a shared goal, which
y'all not on the same page, and I don't even understand why you inserting yourself.
Is to provide a safe space. We have some shared facilitation style. So when I come in here and sometimes I say, hey y'all, drop some hearts in the comment, drop some hearts if you can relate to this. Say me too. We have that shared facilitation style. We also have a shared model. Like that person brings in someone from, I'm going to assume from a mental health space.
Messy and petty, and we are going to assume the same things as about you as well. Because I feel like that was kind of shady, but she wants to come across as a professional. So let's keep going.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't look into it. And I thought that all that's great. I am so glad if we can inspire, if we can provide a model, by all means, y'all take it and run with it.
But you don't inspire and you don't provide a model.
For sure. I have no problem with that. What made me concerned is the information that went out from the person who was providing psychological expertise.
And this where I'm going to clock out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let y'all watch the rest of this. We will discuss this on a live. Mel said that she was going live on TikTok later on today at 3:30 to discuss some things. So y'all make sure y'all tuned in to that. These people think we stupid. We gonna talk more about this. Dusty Dan need to get a fucking life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the post notification bell so y'all are up to date each and every time that I upload.
So if you say you're gonna come from a psychological perspective, that means you're gonna come from research. That means you're gonna come from a place of study. That's what that means. And if I were to look up that theory that was put out there, I wouldn't find that anywhere. The theory.
You wouldn't find what anywhere?
The theory that went out from the guests. I wouldn't find that theory in any psychological space. Like I don't think any psychologist, any therapist, anyone who works in psychology, any professor would repeat that theory. So let's talk about the theory. The theory was that if a woman had issues with her mother, she would respond in one or two ways to other women. She would either become very codependently attached and need tons of validation from her friends and other women, or she would have an aversion to relationships with other women. And what I thought was, how sad. I don't know how many women walked away thinking that in their adulthood, those are the only two responses that they could have if they had any issues with their moms. That is, we don't want to put misinformation out there. That is the opposite of safe. And there was another woman who went public. I haven't heard any of her commentary in response to it. Another former castmate of yours from the show who responded to that and was triggered, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, because that information was misinforming. And I really, it made me think about us in our spaces. What I really want you to do, I want you to stay safe. People who are showing up here, I think there's some people showing up for different reasons. Y'all are like, let me see what they're talking about, and that's fine. You want to be entertained, that's cool. There are some people who do blog work, and so this is news, so, in the blog world, right? So there's some people who show up for that reason. But there are people, I'm starting to see a community form for us, and there are people who show up because you want to heal in community. And I want you all to be careful. I want you to check people's backgrounds before you take theories and run with them.
Yes, you don't want to do that with me. You don't want to do that with me. You really don't want to do that with me. You don't want to do that with me. You don't know. You don't want to do that like that. You ain't got enough to call me like that. You ain't got enough. You ain't got enough. You ain't got enough. You ain't got enough. That's all you got. I know. Don't play with me, ho. For real. Don't play with me. You're talking crazy all night. Don't play. Thank you so much for taking time out to bring me champagne to be a sponsor.
I told you I was sponsored this one, but you didn't send me what you sent Stormy. I said, hey, Stormy, you going to Destiny's event? She said, yeah, I'm going. She said, I'm sponsoring. I said, you sponsoring? Oh, okay. I told her I wanted to sponsor, but okay.
I dropped the ball. That's on me. But I didn't know if you were going to show up like you didn't in the last one. So
don't have one thing about friends, even when you drop the ball, somebody better be there to pick up the ball and catch you. So let me just tell you, I still am a gold sponsor.
You don't give me no chance.
Oh, I'm still a gold sponsor. That's what friends do. I got you. Don't be no more though. You send anybody else
I'm going to have to just bring a stack and
anybody else
slide it in your purse. You get your money.
You send somebody else some sponsor stuff, I better be first on the list.
Yes, ma'am. I'll put you on the other stuff. Sorry you didn't get on the step.
It's all good.
I forgot to send Melody the sponsorship package.
Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up, roll the window down it. Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I That's wild mind.